Hello, all. I think we're live and from Long Island, New York, on a hot, steamy morning where the temperatures are expected to go well into the 90s, or at least the low 90s. Yesterday, it felt like 198. It was a high, I think, of 95, 96 out by me, and it was really, really steamy. Not good weather for us old guys. In any event, the Dow and the NASDAQ, let's take a look at how they're feeling this morning in the heat. I know weather sometimes does affect the trading on Wall Street, believe it or not. A lot of psychology. When you're feeling good, you want to buy. When things aren't going your way, you want to sell. So let's take a quick look if that thesis is holding up this morning. So let's take a look at, instead of the Dow Jones Industrial Averages, we're going to look at the NASDAQ averages, which is an entirely different chart. If you remember correctly, the Dow Jones averages made their highs in January 20-something. Well, the NASDAQ also turned in a high January 26, but subsequently took out that high once in March, mid-March, and then again recently it took out that high back just recently. That would be 6/14. It made a high of 1291, and 6/20, it made a high of 7309. 7309 versus 7291. So it broke the high again just 2 days ago. So we're at the upper end of a very nice ascending channel. I tried to draw two parallel lines in this particular Yahoo Finance graph. It does allow you to draw. And you can see the lower end of the channel has quite a few touches. Starting around the early part of April, it has several touches on the low end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 touches. And it hasn't touched the low end since, let's go back, since May 4th, when it turned in a low of 6612. So we've been trading mid-channel to upper channel. We've had quite a few touches on the high side, on the high end of the channel. One touch, we went above it here, and we had another touch here, and another touch here, another one there, another one there. So this seems to be a beautiful way to trade the NASDAQ over the last few months. When the NASDAQ 100 dips to the lower end of the channel, you buy, and when it's at the upper end of the channel, you sell until it goes below the midpoint, buy again. Dips below the midpoint, you can start buying again. So the midpoint of this channel is a fairly wide channel, so there's plenty of room to be made to make money buying below the channel midpoint and above, and selling above. So nimble traders like channels like this when there's actually April, May, June, heading into July. This channel's been around 3 months with no sign of breaking yet. But if it does break substantially to either way, if it breaks above, we're going to have an enormous rally, which I doubt. But if it breaks substantially below, in other words, detaches itself from the channel completely, lower trend line, then I think it's time to think seriously about selling your tech-heavy stocks. So this is a reflection of the tech market, and more so than anything else, because the top 100 stocks in the NASDAQ are stocks like Google and Apple. Just for the hell of it, I charted Apple in blue for comparison. And you notice that it didn't follow the exact channel of the NASDAQ 100, but had a heavy influence on it. So when Apple dipped back on April 27th to a relative low here, it caused the NASDAQ 100 to dip right to the bottom end of the channel. And similarly, when Apple reached a new high here, so did the NASDAQ 100. When Apple reached a new high back in, let's see the date, May 10th, so did the NASDAQ 100 trade at the upper end of its channel. So Apple and the NASDAQ 100 to me are very, very close, but the NASDAQ 100 gives you a better sense of the market all told than just looking at Apple alone, obviously. So I just wanted to be different compared to the Dow. This is sending a different message, a more optimistic message, I might add. So it's always good to look at different averages. Now, those who pay more attention to the Dow will say, well, the NASDAQ is topping later than the Dow and will go down. Those who pay more attention to the overall market, after all, the Dow is just 30 stocks, might say, well, the Dow is slow in making new highs, but it's going to catch up to the NASDAQ and start making new highs again. It's because right now the NASDAQ 100 and the Dow Jones are out of sync. Let's add the Dow Jones also to this list. So let's add the Dow. We're going to see a purple line for the Dow. Okay, so the purple line for the Dow shows quite a bit different story. The Dow made its high, as you can see, January 26, along with a temporary high for the NASDAQ. It did mirror more or less the ebbs and flows of the NASDAQ, but now it's diverging, with the Dow really moving sharply away from the NASDAQ. So this divergence, in my mind, is not a good thing. I'm afraid the Dow might actually be the more legitimate indicator of what's going to happen in the NASDAQ. Although most people would take exception to that, saying, well, the NASDAQ has 100 stocks. The Dow only has 30 in these particular indices. And while that's true, the Dow, my argument is the Dow is more psychologically significant than the NASDAQ. More people are affected mood-wise by swings in the Dow than the NASDAQ. So when you go to lunch with a colleague, you are more asked to say, where is the Dow trading at? Is it up, is it down, than the NASDAQ. Right now, the NASDAQ is just about even on the day, 7,036.10, down 0.07. Let's see where the Dow is trading at for the day. I can't grab it. The Dow is at 72.7. No, that's the NASDAQ. Okay, I can't get the Dow so easily unless I just switch to the Dow. Okay, so now the Dow, we can see where the Dow is trading on the day. We have a slightly red candle. Its low is 24,269. It's trading now at 24,180 it's trading at. But here's the candle. 24,180 down 91 points, whereas the NASDAQ 100 was flat on the day. We're down 0.4% on the Dow. That is quite a difference. So even day by day, we get huge differences between the Dow and the NASDAQ 100. So this This analysis of the NASDAQ 100 was requested by one of my viewers, and I hope it puts in perspective the difference between the Dow and the NASDAQ 100. Now let's just take a quick look at Major League Baseball scores. I know some of you more interested in the World Cup. Maybe we could take a look at that as well. But let's take a look at MajorLeagueBaseball.com and see what we have. Standings. Let's take a look at the standings scores first. The Mets actually won a game. The Yankees getting even with Boston for the loss the day before. So the Yankees matchup. All right. Anyway, the scoreboard. No, that's for today. Let's go back a day. Let's go back a day. Go back a day to July 1st, where we see that the Orioles dropped the Angels 8-2. The Tigers walloped with Toronto, and the Stros lost by a close one to the Tampa Bay Rays. Been a pretty good team lately, and Cincinnati got by handily in their game. Braves, Cardinals, so that was another tight one. Braves nipping the Cards 6-5 and 9. And the Cubbies holding on to an 11-10 win with a comeback attack, pretty ferocious. All right, here's some of the scores around the league. And again, the Reds game wasn't much of a game. In fact, I think all three of the games weren't much of a game. One big or Boston one big. I think the Yankees must have belted 6 home runs. Let's see. Judge hit 1. Torres hit 1. Aaron hit 3. Wow, 3. And Higashioka, whatever his name is, hit 1. So we have 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 home runs. This is like a home run derby, Yankees, Red Sox. I think Red Sox. So back and forth we go. Let's just take endings as we approach the midway mark. I have a lot of windows open. So let me close something. I will close the Dow. I think I'm going to stop right here. It's a hot day in Long Island. I'm going to go jump in the swimming pool. And you guys can look over the standings yourselves. Some people on to chat with me to make things a little more interesting. But I hope you enjoyed looking at that channel on the NASDAQ 100 together with me. I hadn't looked at it myself until just the other day, and I noticed that channel, which is something traders really, really like. So let me get back to the camera and say goodbye to everybody. Stop screen sharing. Stop sharing screen. See if I can get back. just to say bye all. Very nice seeing you again. See you tomorrow. This is Dr. J signing off.